Well, I'd like to welcome you to Teaching Leadership's 849, the professional semester. This is your culminating experience for the MAT program, and I'm Kit Runyon. I'll be your professor for this next semester. I'd like to, in this video, explain what we'll be doing and how we'll be doing it. And so to begin, I'd like for you to take just a couple of seconds, and I want you to think of two characteristics of a great student, a student that you would love to have in your classroom. Can you think of two characteristics? Then I'd like for you to think of two characteristics of those great teachers you've had before that made a difference. What two characteristics would you come up with? Well, whatever those two are, what I would love to happen in this course is for you to do those two characteristics for me as a student, and I will try to be those two characteristics that you thought of as a master teacher. So let's see if that's going to happen at the end of the 16 weeks. In this little short video, we're going to hopefully cover 5 things. How do you navigate the Canvas course? Who's in this course with me? What am I as a person? What am I like? What will I be doing in the course? And how am I going to get an A? I always wanted to know that first off. First of all, most of you have been on Canvas before, but to show you how this course is outlined, once you get on Canvas and come to the click on the course, you come directly to the home page, and there in the home page you'll find a brief explanation of the activities and the focus of the experience, and then below a little bit about me and my bibliography or biography. So homepage is sort of a catch-all for thing. Also, your announcements will be listed there as we send them out every couple of weeks. Announcements is the second column, but I'll try to send these out to keep us on task, to make sure we're all on the same page. And usually I'll include in the announcements some cartoons as well as a humorous video. Sometimes we take ourselves too seriously, so I like to use as much humor as I can without getting in trouble. So the announcements will be coming to you quite often. The second area that you're going to find on your left-hand column is the syllabus. Most people don't read this, but I would like for you to look it over, especially near the end of how you'll be getting your course grades and what you'll be doing. But it will help you keep track of what you've got to do. Below the announcements, you're going to find all of the assignments and their dates. And in fact, as you complete them, they'll be checked off, and you also have your grade and my narrative assessment. In the syllabus, there'll be a lot of objectives. We do this for NCATE or our accreditation system. Also, there'll be descriptions of all the assignments and the grade breakdown and the likes. And also, if you need any help, there'll be some places that you can go for that help in the syllabus. So you might look that over, especially jot down my email as well as my telephone number. I don't mind you calling as long as it's before midnight. So there you go. If you haven't been on Canvas before, and I can't imagine any of you getting this far without getting on Canvas, I did include a tutorial there for you that will show you how to navigate the various Canvas or management system operational points. In the fourth column on the left, you're going to find the modules. These are probably the things that you're going to spend the most time with during the 16 weeks. We have them broken down by weeks, so you're simply follow those, and what you do, you're open up a module, and in the module then you'll find everything you need to do for that time period. For example, as you open it up for week 7, the very first thing you see up at the top are the things to do. I'd check that out first, and then you'll find any of the instructional videos that you're going to need, or material, the articles that you could read. You don't have to read them all. In this case, they are the different report cards that you might assess to find information. Then at the bottom is your assignment drop box for that module. So they're all the same. Once you open them up, it's where all the material is located. There's no textbook for this course. It's your culminating experience. If you've had classes from me before, we use the free textbook, the Educator's Book of Secrets, 160 Truths of Masterful Teaching. I wrote that quite a long time ago, but yet we update it every couple of years, and so you can find that and download it if you haven't had a class from me before, right there under the Educator's Book of Secrets. And it's free, so you can put it on your phone or you can put it on any reading device in different formats. How do you complete your assignments? Well, for the quizzes, you'll find there's going to be 2 quizzes on the legal basis as well as the legal terminology for you getting to your teaching career without getting sued, without getting in legal trouble. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, but they're always a drop box. Quizzes are easy to take because as soon as you take them, you'll find the answers. And as you find in the legal quiz, you should get 100% on that if you watch the videos and then take the test. For the discussion boards, we're going to have 4. The first one is introducing yourself to others and commenting to others to see who's, and probably you will have taken a number of classes with some of the others in the class in this culminating experience, but you'll be asked to respond to 1 or 4 or all 4 questions and then respond to other people's posts, at least 5 of them. That's I think one of the fun parts of the course is the discussion boards. One of the things you'll be doing is a teacher work sample. You should have done it in instructional planning, another course. So you've had practice at this, hopefully. If not, everything you're going to need is going to be found in this module, in the several modules that cover the work sample. To use the drop boxes, all you need to do is go to the drop box. You'll find up at the top a place to submit it, and below the box you'll find the rubric that I'll use to evaluate it. Drop boxes are easy. You've used them before. If you do have a problem, just call me or email me and I'll explain how you use that. So once you submit something, I will always give you a narrative feedback as well as using the rubric. I feel that if you take the time to write it, I'm going to take the time to read it. So you'll find that maybe maybe I write too much about what you said, but I will give you feedback on every assignment that you do. The very first thing you'll find in each module, as I mentioned before, the things to do page. It'll tell you what to read, what to view, things to do, and then to continue your professional development, which we'll explain in a minute. But this is a good page to go to just to see, make sure that you do what you're supposed to do in each of the modules. And again, as I mentioned, the Dropbox will have how it will be graded, and then it will give a detailed rubric on how the points will be awarded. The grades are no secret. You'll find those below the syllabus, or as you go right here at the very last on the left-hand column of pages, grade page, and it'll show you your grade, as well as you can click on the narrative and read the narrative. So it's an easy way to keep track of your grades. To find out who's in the course with you, you also have a people page, and it lists all the people there. So if you want to communicate and work with somebody on a project, you can easily do that. One of the first things that we're going to do is introduce ourselves, and again I'm going to ask you to do 5 questions about yourself so we can get to know you. Maybe you've done this before with others, but I don't know you. Maybe I have not had you in a class, so this gives me some background, and also a good way for us to get to know one another for those that you haven't met before. If you want to get to know who I am, if you haven't had a class with me before, we have a good humorous video in Module 1 that introduces me. You'll find it's quite humorous as to me. But to give you a motivation to watch, which of these 2 do you think is true about me? I flunked the 3rd grade and have been to Russia twice to tour and teach in various schools. Or I've biked across Kansas, I've bungee jumped off the New River Bridge in West Virginia, and I placed 2nd. I'm not real proud of this, but 2nd in a Fort Scott mud wrestling contest. So which of these 2 do you think I have accomplished in life? You can find that out by watching the video. So what will you be doing in this course? This is a culminating experience for your master's degree in teaching. It's designed to validate what you've learned. You'll have 4 major activities which you're going to do during this semester. We're going to explore school law. We're going to look at your classroom and what you're doing, analyze a lesson. And then you're going to personally design a unit and teach it and analyze it. And then you're going to read quite a number of articles that are quick and short, but it will give you a broad knowledge base over things that might be of interest to you. So, excuse me. So again, the great breakdown in the syllabus, you'll find take 2 school law quizzes. They one of them's worth 25 and the other's 50. You'll be watching a video on this. You'll be videotaping yourself and analyzing it and then submitting that video. You'll be doing a teacher work sample with its 4 sections and the appendix, and you'll be participating in 4 discussion posts as well as reading 50 articles, 25 in the first half of the semester and 25 in the second half. And you might find this is the most enjoyable of them all, though it sounds bad. The articles are short. They're usually research briefs or blog posts, or usually they're not more than 1 page or 2 pages, but you can click on links to go to other places if you want to find out more information. And then 2 little mop-up things. You'll take a course structure quiz just to make sure you understand how the course will be run. From this video will be most of the information, and then you'll evaluate me. So that's how we'll get your grades for the course. For example, the very first one, the school law quiz, there's 2 of them. After watching the video, you'll simply answer the questions that are posed to you. That usually takes, it depends on if you're watching the video right beside it, which you should, which I'll kind of show you how. But as you're watching the video, you can take the quiz, and it's pretty easy. You ought to get 100% using both of these. But we'll be looking at in quiz 1 the judicial basis for education and some basic legal terminology that applies to teachers. I'll tell you a number of stories to illustrate those terms. And then the second quiz, you're going to look at a host of legal responsibilities that you should abide by in your classroom, and we're in with teacher hiring and dismissal, of those things that you can be dismissed for and the like. So that'll keep you honest and keep you hopefully out of trouble. This second thing you'll be doing is in about the second month of the semester, you'll be videotaping one of your lessons, and then you're going to analyze it on 10 domains and write a paper analyzing yourself. I'm the only one that reads this, and then you submit the video, and I'll look it over and give you feedback on it too. Usually when you videotape yourself 20 to 30 minutes, they're too large a file to be sent over email or the Canvas messaging system. So I'll be sending you a Google Drive folder, and there you're open, as you see here, you're open that URL, and you just drop your video in it, and it will be sent to my Google Drive. So I'm the only one that can view that. I usually get rid of them after a year because it takes up too much space in my Google Drive. So, but I'll give you feedback on each of those, as you did also in your video analysis. Those of you that are like to try new stuff, if you want to, you can zip it. You can find the zip program. It's free at this location, and then it compresses your file, and then you can send it usually by email. But as long as I get your video by the due date, we're good to go. On the self-analysis, you'll be looking at completing your own 10 domains and then rating yourself on 37 observational indicators. I usually use these as I watch your video too, but it's a way to get you to assess yourself, maybe set some goals that you want to improve on. And usually it's a scary thing to do at the beginning, but once you get it done, you're going to find it useful. I used to videotape myself every year as I taught, and I taught for 16 years in West Virginia as a secondary English teacher, and I still have them. I can't believe how how I sounded nor how skinny I was. So don't worry about what you sound like or what you look like. It's what we're going to look for are those things that you do. The third thing, and probably the one that you are least happy about having to do again, but we have to do it for our CAPE accreditation. All of you in the Culminating Experience do this. Is the work sample where you do it in your own classroom. You have the template. Most of you have done it already in another class, but I'll cover the instructions for each one of the sections in a video analysis. We'll also have several discussion boards that will keep you on track on doing those things. And then I give you probably 24 different examples from different disciplines that you could use to get ideas. So teacher work sample will take about 6 weeks of the time period of this 16 weeks. You'll be asked to analyze your own teacher work sample. We have the rubrics for you, the analysis sheet, so you can grade your own to make sure you've got everything. And really, most of the time, nobody has everything because each of the lessons are different. But we have some extra fudge points in there. But I do have to turn in your scores to the PSU Teacher Education Office for your certification. If everything goes as planned, it's a perfect teacher work sample. However, things don't as you teach. I found this little video, and don't worry if it doesn't go well, because it's just kids. You're gonna have some lessons to reflect on that didn't go as you thought. So it might go something like this if you're in an elementary school. Well, sometimes when you teach your lessons, some things just never go right. So don't worry about it not going right, because that's what you reflect upon. Is the things that do to go right, and the things that don't, and what would you do to change them? On the discussion boards, we'll have 4 of those. We'll have your personal introduction, and you're going to look at an orientation checklist that though you're in your 2nd year of teaching, typically, go back and look at those things that maybe you need to polish or add to, and set some goals for what you want to see better operationally. And then your 3rd and 4th one will actually have to do with your teacher work sample, so you can share kind of what you're doing, how you're going to do it, and the like, and it gives us ideas. So discussion boards, I think, are kind of fun and get us oriented to getting the job done well. In the personal introduction, the very first thing you're going to do in this class, you're going to introduce yourself, and you're going to talk about where you're teaching and what you're currently teaching, what subjects, and your content areas. And then your last 2 will ask you for the greatest challenge you have right now in your classroom, and what do you find is the greatest satisfaction. And we're finding a vast array of responses for these 5 questions. In this orientation checklist, you're going to look, just scan. You're not going to write anything down. You're going to just look at all the things that you need to have procedures for, typically, to run a smooth classroom. And maybe, for example, number 9, your signal for student attention just didn't work, and might be a goal to kind of improve the different types of signals that you're going to use to get kids to listen to you. And we're looking at all of the school policies, teacher policies, where all of these things are located, and then what your layout may look out like, your different procedures, routines, and then your rules and expectations. So after you examine all those, what goals might you set to improve upon? Because if you don't know how to play the game, or how things operate, things could go like this. I don't want you to be this poor sucker as he learns to operate his treadmill. And maybe you've experienced something like this before. Okay. Well, I love throwing in little videos just to break up the monotony. And then the last thing that you're going to do throughout the course, you're going to I'm going to give you 300, at least 300 short articles, blogs, research briefs, and the like, with really catchy topics that you might want to look at. And what you do in the first half, you're going to look at the 4 areas: professionalism, social relationships, lesson planning, and instruction, finding 5 articles in each of those that you're going to read, and in 1 sentence you're going to summarize how you're going to use it in your classroom, or potentially use it in your classroom. And that's how you get credit for it. You put the title down and you tell us how you're going to use it in just one sentence. You're not going to write anything more than 1 sentence, or I get on you. Second half, you'll submit your 25 there that will deal with technology, management, assessment, and the working environment or job search, if you're going to continue to look for a job. So those are usually one of the fun things that you'll be doing, because they're just some pretty neat articles and to look at. Here's what it will look like. Basically, you have a list of all the articles. You simply will click on the one that you want to read, or you can read them all if you want to. It might take forever, but just something that would interest you. Read it over. You'd put the title of the article there, and in 1 sentence, what's your position? What did you learn from that? How will you use it in your classroom? And we limit you only to 1 sentence, and this is what the final thing will look like using that template. And then the course quiz, very short, lets you take on how to navigate this course. It's mainly, I've answered them all for you by this video. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. If you get it wrong, you take it again till you get all 10 points. And then you're going to evaluate me as I've been evaluating you. I think it's only fair that you tell me what worked, what didn't. So it's anonymous. I can't find out who did what, but I want to find out what you liked and what you didn't like about the course. So last couple of pieces of advice. If life happens and if you have something go wrong and you need some more time, just tell me. Come up with original excuse. Love that. Sometimes if you come up with a funny one, even though you just need more time, we might say, yeah, it sounds good. So but always always tell me you're going to be late if you don't turn something in. And then you'll find as you went through your master's program, you have to learn to discipline yourself, because it usually a online class takes more time than a face-to-face class. So find some time to get these assignments done. I'm going to have a good time during this course. I enjoy working with you, see you develop and flourish in your classrooms, and I hope you do the same. So thanks for listening, and get on to the first module.